Good morning, YouTube readers, non-readers. I figured that I would mix up the format of talking about the various Mill Avenue Vexations volumes for once and actually, not just show slides while talking about it. This one is Mill Avenue Vexations Volume 3. I can never get this quite lined up. But the interesting thing about this lovely little cover is we have Vex in a sort of red brick in the center, holding her head with little Enochian characters spiraling outward. And this is also the first cover to show any color at all. In this case, a little tiny red rose down at the bottom there. The paper is also pretty smooth. There's very few of these, and if anyone's interested, that is, this one is actually signed. The cover is by one of my first artists, one of the first three, in fact, Jody Azar. And it was a pretty fun one to put together. It has my normal internal graphics still, of course. As you can see, I do chapter headings, which is something I wasn't showing in the other videos. They're not quite the greatest in the universe. Later volumes, I have a black and white line artist doing the internal artwork, who does a much better job than I do. In this volume, we have several interesting things happening. The first one is a character introduced earlier, Darlene, disappears. Mostly she does so while playing the violin, which is the reference to the first chapter, Kel the Bosch, which is why it has a violin on it. And some really weird things happen, including some chickens get killed, buildings get evacuated, certain things are blamed on the chupacabra. This is Arizona after all. We also have a chapter where Vex starts talking to the voices who happen to intrude on her consciousness, or, like the voices in her head. And we have our brief introduction to her mother, who happens to be dead, like the trope dead all along, or, using a dead character to frame things, except for she doesn't get flashbacks to her mother, she actually gets spoken to. And third, one of the characters who a lot of the people who are reading Volume 14 are used to is introduced here, although some people may not know that it's her. Tiffany gets killed. Finally, this volume has a rather extensive back cover, which I'm going to try reading for you. The way I designed this is that there's two parties speaking. The first one is Vex, and the second one is her mother. And the way I designed this was that you can read it, you can only read Vex's section, and it works. Or you can read it with her mother's responses, and it changes the context of what Vex says. When you've seen as much as I have, this city, these people, this place, the Ave, it can start blurring together, Friday after Friday, face after face. Men, women, yuppies, scabs, droids, they all blend together into one never-ending, edgeless, eyeless crowd. Listen to us, daughter. We are your path to salvation, your grace. You can find peace. A wise man once told me that searching for serenity in a city was like wishing for rain underneath a waterfall. The water will keep rushing, but you can never tell if that was thunder or storm clouds in the mist. You already know the way. We've shown it to you before. You need only listen. From the dangers hidden in the darkness, we have pointed you. When you were terrified, we cuddled you. When you needed shelter, we pitched ourselves against the elements. When you are ready to come home, we will be waiting. So it's like that for me, a constant deluge of faces. A couple with a kid rode in my cab yesterday. I know I keep telling myself I hate kids, that I never want to have any, never subject the scions to this world. But there was something in that little girl's eyes that I couldn't quite ignore. and we will always love you. Something a lot like Serenity. 264 Victor Echo, come back. Well, gotta go. It's been surreal. The book also includes a little discussion that I have on Gothic culture from Mill Avenue, and the usual accoutrement. If you want to read it, it's online. It's volume 3. You can just go to millavenuevexations.com, click on volume 3, and follow it through. Hope you enjoyed. Everyone have good night and good dreams.